The motorway between Calais and Bruges stretches endlessly through dark farmland that feels abandoned once night falls. And right in the middle of that isolation stood Pit Stop 17, a small roadside station with 2 fuel pumps, a dim convenience shop, and a flickering neon sign that buzzed louder the colder the air became. Lukas had taken the night shift job out of desperation after moving from Poland for work that never came, and although his manager had casually told him to keep the doors locked after midnight, offering no real explanation, the warning lingered in his mind as the nights grew quieter and heavier. Most shifts passed in silence, broken only by the occasional truck driver stopping for coffee. But every night, at exactly 2:17 a.m., the neon sign outside flickered violently before stabilizing, a detail Lukas initially dismissed as an electrical fault, until the unease it caused began to settle deep in his chest. On his 7th night, just after 3 a.m., an old gray hatchback pulled into the station, its body coated in mud and one headlight dim, stopping at pump 2 without anyone stepping out. And as minutes passed with no movement, Lukas used the intercom to ask if assistance was needed, receiving only silence in return. Watching through the CCTV, he noticed someone sitting in the driver's seat with their head tilted forward unnaturally still, and when he zoomed in, the figure suddenly lifted its head with a sharp, unnatural motion and turned directly toward the camera, its face appearing disturbingly blank for a fraction of a second before the image glitched and the car appeared empty. Before Lukas could process what he had seen, 3 sharp knocks echoed from the glass door behind him, and when he turned, a pale, thin man stood outside, wearing a heavy coat despite the mild weather, staring with an unsettling calm that made Lukas hesitate before unlocking the door. Inside, the man spoke in a flat, emotionless tone, asking for coffee, but making no move toward the machine until Lukas prepared it himself. And throughout the interaction, the man watched him without blinking, creating a suffocating tension that grew unbearable when he leaned slightly forward and asked, "Do you stay here alone?" To which Lukas foolishly answered yes, prompting the man to nod slowly and reply, "Good, less noise," before placing exact change on the counter and leaving as quietly as he had arrived. When Lukas rushed to the window, the gray hatchback had vanished without a sound. And from that night on, the car began appearing more frequently, always around the same time, sometimes empty, sometimes occupied, sometimes with doors slowly opening on their own, and once with the trunk already open as if inviting him to look inside. Disturbed, Lukas began reviewing the CCTV recordings more closely and discovered something impossible. The car often appeared on camera moments before it actually arrived, as if the system perceived it earlier than reality itself, and this anomaly only deepened his fear. One night, a normal-looking truck driver stopped by and complained that the station's sign was barely visible from the road, insisting it kept going dark. And as Lukas tried to deny it, the neon light flickered at 2:17 a.m. and went completely out. Yet from inside the shop, it still seemed to glow faintly, creating a disorienting contradiction that made Lukas question what was real. When he checked the CCTV footage afterward, he saw that during the blackout, a tall figure had been standing near pump 2, perfectly still and facing the shop, something he had not seen with his own eyes at the time, and this realization marked the point where his fear turned into dread. On what would become his final night, the gray hatchback arrived again at 3:05 a.m., but this time it did not stop at pump 2. Instead, it rolled slowly forward and halted directly in front of the entrance, blocking the door completely, its engine silent and its presence oppressive, as if it had come with intention rather than coincidence. The entire station seemed to fall into an unnatural silence, the usual hum of machines fading away. And then a knock echoed through the space, not from the front door, but from the storage room behind Lukas, a place that was always supposed to remain locked. Trembling, he approached the door and called out hesitantly, only to be met with silence before a soft voice emerged from the other side, a voice that sounded almost identical to his own, asking the same question he had heard before. "Do you stay here alone?" Panic surged through him as the front door handle began rattling violently, something outside trying to force its way in, while at the same time the storage room door slowly creaked open from the inside, revealing nothing but darkness. The next morning, a delivery driver arrived at 6:12 a.m. to find the shop open, lights on, and everything seemingly normal, except for Lukas, who had completely vanished without any signs of struggle or disturbance, leaving behind only a chilling piece of evidence on the CCTV recording, where he could be seen standing behind the counter at 3:07 a.m., motionless and staring directly into the camera for nearly 3 hours without blinking or shifting even slightly, until at 6:11 a.m. he calmly turned and walked toward the back door, disappearing from view forever. Pit Stop 17 still operates to this day along that lonely motorway between Calais and Bruges, but night shifts are difficult to fill, as employees rarely last long, and while most reports are dismissed as stress or imagination, a few workers claim that if you watch the CCTV at around 3 a.m., you might see someone standing behind the counter, completely still, watching the door, waiting in silence for the next person who will say they are alone.